want to welcome everyone to another week, another edition of the Focus TV. Joined by Octavia White, we got Cardo Dudley Jr. I'm Wilson Tarvey Jr. Welcome to Season 6, Episode 22 of the Focus TV. Clearly, we're going to talk about NBA playoffs, NBA draft lotteries tonight, too, for some of you teams, some of you fans' teams who've been atrocious all year. And I'm going to be honest, some of y'all's teams don't deserve to be rewarded. But I'm not in charge of the lottery, so we'll see what happens. I want pure chaos. The teams that tried, I believe they should deserve something. Gonna talk misses because the WNBA season officially kicks off. Preseason is over. The final cuts are happening to rosters all around the league. And then, a quick update on DC United. And I'm sure Cardell's going to have some fire for us and rapid fire this week because there's been a ton going on. We just even in NBA, before we even get outside of sports, just NBA's been on one. It's like they had what is the NFL's Black Friday? Usually that they had the NBA just had a mass it's crazy. But we're gonna get to that later. We got time. We're gonna start with the NBA playoffs. Look like we do every week. We told you guys last week we expect to be in the conference finals, and that's exactly where we are. The Nuggets wrapped up the Suns handily, decidedly in Game 6. The Lakers did the same with the Warriors, packed them up as well. There's a theme here. Miami did the same with the Knicks. And kudos to the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, hell of a series that he had. We'll see where they go going forward. Boston and Philly went the distance, but that Game 7 was rather anticlimactic and turned out to be problematic for the Sixers, which I'm sure we'll touch on some of that in rapid fire. In the Western Conference Finals, we have the Lakers and the Nuggets. The Nuggets, just to remind everybody, the number one seed in the West, which they've been for most of the year. Just to remind folks. Some folks, I feel like it hasn't set in. They are actually the one seed in this 1-7 matchup, not the other way around, depending on, no matter what you hear on TV every morning. On the other side, we got Miami and Boston. They're used to seeing each other here. All right, so Carter, we'll start with you, then Octavia. Your thoughts on where we are in NBA playoffs as we head into the conference finals?
Yeah, starting with the Nuggets and Suns, man. We pretty much talked about that throughout the series. No answer for Jokic, and the Suns had no depth. And you know, Jokic is already hard enough to deal with, even if you have a top caliber big man to kind of battle him. When your $100 million center, starting center, is pretty much non-existent to the point where you pretty much got to sit on. That messes up everything. Now everybody else got to play a position that they're not, I want to say fully capable, but they're not used to playing and can't function like that, in a closeout game to try to possibly win. And that's what you saw, man. And then, obviously when they went back home, you saw Jokic could tell you what he was doing, but then the others woke up, and Shaq would call him. And the bench, the Jamal Murray and Porter and Aaron Gordon, and man, look, and it goes to show you could have two top all-world players like the Suns do, and Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, but tough defense over a long series will wear you down, and that's what you saw, man. I can't remember a time I saw Kevin this inefficient, man. It was just it was I wasn't. It's hard to say. I wasn't going to say I'm shocked, but I didn't expect it to go like this consistently with his inefficiency, where he might have had like one good game where he was Kevin Durant. Most of those games, man, he was in the 30s shooting wise, from the field and from 3-point range. It was just, you got to give Aaron Gordon credit, man. His athleticism and his size. He about the same size as KD, but he's more athletic than KD and bigger. It wear you down. It wore him down. Like Kevin averaged 29, 9 and 5, almost 2 blocks. Testament to his greatness. But he shot 45% from the field, 22% from 3, and 88% from the line. Like that 22% from 3, and then the 23 turnovers that killed him, because him and Booker guy had a ball in their hands without CP3. You see what I'm saying? And here's another testament to what I was talking about when I was saying the depth. The Suns only had 3 players that averaged 10 or more points. I'm looking at the Nuggets. Whew, it gets ugly. They had 7. No, they had six. They had six players led by Jokic, who averaged 34, 12%. He had his way, man. It was bad, man. And like they had some tough questions. The Suns, they had some tough questions. It ain't just about the coaching. And I, for one, we gonna touch on it later, man. Look, I get the norm. If you don't get it done over a few seasons, you fire the coach or whatnot. But I'm tired of these teams letting the players off the hook, man. You can't be like one on one. It's us. We the most important piece. We figured out. We don't really need coaches, as one All-Star player once said. And then when things go to hell, the coaches got to keep taking the L. That's the problem. And with the new ownership, the spotlight was going to be on somebody. They can't get rid of KD. And truth be told, I'm not even going to put all this on KD, even though he didn't have the best series. He just got there. You know what I'm saying? Like this been going on when Giannis came back. Went on last year. This is something that's been going down, and it's with that core. And a big part of that is, look, Devin is doing what all he can. Big part of that is CP3 can't stay healthy, and DeAndre Ayton, homie, this is why they didn't want to pay you. This is why. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why these dudes think you signing for 9 figures and expectations ain't gonna be through the roof. What world are you living in? Like, I need that. Like, it ain't even no question. I need that. And here's the thing. They weren't even asking him to match Jokic. They were just saying, just give us something. Show a post. He literally did nothing, dog. Like, I'm serious. 10-8. You average 10-8, bro. That's Jock Landale averaged 6 and 5 in 17 minutes. You averaged 10-8 in 29 minutes. That's horrible. But you getting 9 figures. Jock Landale just happy to be on the team right now. So that's all that was, man. That's an easy series to call, man. Like, they got a lot of work to do. They got to fill in a lot of holes. They got to get a lot of role players in there that can fit and hold it down. More importantly, defend and hit shots. And the DeAndre Ayton acting like he ain't trying to really work and get better. I mean, damn, dog. If you can't produce with KD and Devin Booker drawing all that attention, come on. I mean, it's time to roll. It's time to get rid of you. Miami Heat and the Knicks, look, the Knicks battled Jalen Brunson. Kudos to him. You know what I mean? He didn't get a consistent help from his fellow All-Star big man and Julius Randle. And RJ Barrett. He had his hands full dealing with Jimmy, man. Let's just call a spade, man. And that's what that came down to, man. And the toughness of the Heat, man, is actually fun to watch. It's a throwback to what we used to watch all the time. Plenty of teams had that toughness. They may not have had the talent or the all-world player like Jimmy, but they had that toughness, man. With like, yo, you're going to have to beat us. We're not going to help you beat us. You got to beat us. You got to take us out. And that's basically what you're dealing with the Miami Heat, and that's why they're advancing, man. Julius Randle, I feel like, is a little bit of what we talk about during the season with the Wizards, with Denny Avdia. He got to get out of his own head when things ain't going well. That's mental toughness. That's a lack of mental toughness. And you see the difference between how Julius played and then that Game 6 performance with Jason Tatum I'm going to touch on soon. You see what I'm saying? Like, when Julius has a nightmare shoot night, his whole game fall apart, and then he picking up stupid fouls. He just loses his composure. And you can't have that. You got to be cool. It'll come back around if you stay strong and just keep playing your game. It'll come back around. And that's basically what you saw, man. That's another easy one. The Heat were just tougher and executed better. LA and Golden State, we talked about it, and I pretty much gave the rundown, and LeBron pretty much proved it right. You know what I mean? Like the Warriors, especially once Wiggins, his ribs got torn and all that. I knew they ain't had much of a chance because they ain't had that other guy that can be a 3-level scorer with stuff to kind of at least keep the Lakers defense honest, because the Lakers were strapping up. I gotta give Anthony Davis his credit, man. He was all world on defense, and so was LeBron. Bodying up, Draymond, Looney, and those guys, man. They dominated the paint. But that last game, the Game 6, man. Wiggins banged up. LeBron smelled blood. He kept attacking him. He kept testing those ribs. Kept posting them up. He was putting those ribs to work to make sure he would be hurt, so he couldn't try to function and get going. Clay. Like I said about Clay, he can't dribble. So if you're not hitting jumpers, it's a tough night. And now you got D'Angelo and you got Dennis Schroeder scoring on them and stuff like that. That pretty much X him out. Jordan Poole got to improve his all around game, man. He got to improve his all around game. I don't want to hear that the cute scoring is cute. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of moves, a lot of tricks to the trade and all that, but you got to bring more to the table when your shot ain't falling. And defensively, man, I never thought I'd say this, man. He makes James Harden look all NBA on defense. It's bad with Jordan Poole. It's bad. And the sad part is it looks like he's trying, but he's just lost out there. And y'all know my motto, man. I'm like, if you can move on offense, you should be able to move on defense. I ain't trying to hear all that. That's just a lack of attention, and it might be even a little fear. Because when you scared, you stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? And they were attacking him, which makes it hard to keep you on the floor. You know what I mean? When you fool. And then you're not hitting shots either. You know, it's just a tough night. And Looney, man, love Looney, man, but Anthony Davis was too much. And then the bench, you know, Rui. You also got to bring in Austin Reeves, man, Dennis Schroeder coming off the bench. All those guys, you know, Vanderbilt, Lonnie Walker, all those guys. The Warriors didn't really get much from their bench either, with Jordan Poole not producing. So you saw the bad Warriors come to light with this as the series went on. Because like I said, LeBron understands how to beat them. If you don't let those threes and their runs deflate you, it would deflate them, and then they would start pressing. Draymond Green, Steve Kerr touched on it. That punch, man, that punch always lingered. It always lingered, man. And you know, look, Draymond's he's a key piece for them. If they want to stay in contention, they got to bring him back. But he got to work on his game as well, because Anthony Davis had his way with him. I mean, you're supposed to be the defensive stopper. But he had his way with him, especially turn around, shoot on him. And not to say he's going to stop Anthony Davis, but at least make it tougher to hold the fort down. And the game got out of hand. That's why they closed them out. And Boston and Philly, man. One, we needed no more dream comparisons at all. It shouldn't have been one to begin with.
Thank you, Lord. It's over.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been one to begin with. I don't want to hear that no more. The only thing they have in common, they're African, they're 7 feet. They made a couple All-Star, got an MVP. That's it. But one did it against Hall of Fame centers all the time. The other one doing it against low management centers. So you got to keep all that in mind. Just keeping the facts out there, man. But when you're the MVP, it's no excuse to have. Hold on, let me. It's just no excuse to not show up like that. Like ain't nobody trying to hear that, dog. Y'all literally whined. You had dudes campaigning for you to get that trophy, and you had 15 and 8 in a game 7. Nah, homie, 5 or 18, 0 for 4 from 3. And I know Doc tried to stand up for you talking about injuries, bro. You got to find a way. Like I said about Jason Tatum, that game 6, pretty much for about, I say, 39 minutes of the game, man, it was bad. Like he couldn't hit nothing. And he saw one go through, and then a barrage came in. He literally won the game. He had like 4 straight shots, and he literally won the game, a close game at your crib, MVP. You supposed to end it there, because that's why it's the saying you don't want to give the other team life, because momentum is a wild thing. When a team gets momentum, you got dudes playing out their minds that couldn't even play before. You like, what the hell? Like everybody get confidence, and that's what happened with Jason Tatum. Once he did that, and they got that W, there was no way in hell the Sixers was going to beat them in Boston. I just couldn't see it, man. I was hoping that they would make it more competitive. You know what I'm saying? For a half, it was. But Tatum once again got going. Couldn't nobody guard him. You know what I mean? And he was picking on the MVP. Like, that's what makes it worse, bro. And that's why when they throw out the Olajuwon comparisons, you couldn't pick on Olajuwon. He wasn't having it. He was probably, outside Bill Russell, the greatest defensive center of all time, on top of what he did offensively. You know what I'm saying? So it's just inexcusable, man. Like, and then you just watching Jason Tatum 51 and 10 and like, God, bro. And James Harden. I don't know what the infatuation is with Morey. I think that's ego. You still want to ride with him. It's clear he's lost a step. I know he won a game. You can blame Doc all you want, but you did this under Dan Antonio when you had that extra step. You did it in Houston. Chris Paul, Dwight, how many more chances do you need, man? You see what I'm saying? And he hasn't really changed his game. Still don't play defense. So on that end, it shows. And then when he's not hitting shots, it shows, man. And his comments after the game just pretty much stamps why I'm just not a believer in him being able to lead a team to the promised land. It's just I can't see it, man. You know what I mean? It's just a horrible way that they lost. But man, kudos to the Celtics, man. They ball. Al Horford, you can say what you want. That man plays Embiid tougher than any big man in the league, though. Like Embiid struggles without Big Al, man. And the Celtics finally stopped switching. Guys fought over screens. Al Horford wasn't out there on the island with guards. They actually stood pat with the guy they were supposed to guard, and the Sixers had no answer for it. You could say Doc don't make any adjustments or whatsoever, but you got two MVPs on your team. Shouldn't they be making adjustments on the fly? Shouldn't they be communicating? I was seeing key possessions where they would get stops, then be the Harden would miss a shot, and both of them in the backcourt jogging. Meanwhile, the Celtics are racing up the court. It's little things like that that let me know they were done, before the game was officially done. And obviously, Tatum carried the load. Jaylen Brown had 25. But Malcolm Brogdon, they couldn't do nothing with him in the second half when he got going. He had 12 points. And Marcus Smart, Williams, goddamn. Al Horford, all they had to do was just hold the fort down defensively. That's all they had to do. And when they got their opportunity to score, man. So yeah, the better team won. Obviously, the conference finals are playing today. I don't know about the Lakers, and I feel like the Nuggets are deeper overall. I think they got more talent coming off their bench, but it's a little bit of the same thing. I saw a little crack in their armor when they played, the Phoenix Suns. When Phoenix got a couple games off of them, they lost their composure, and they lost those 2 games in Phoenix. And I'm like, you can't lose your composure against LeBron and AD. You just can't. But I do expect Nikola Jokic to go to work on AD, and if he goes to work on AD, that changes a lot because they don't really have anybody else to really come in and deal with that. Meanwhile, you got Jamal Murray. I think he's the X factor. I think he's the one that you got to throw multiple bodies at him. LeBron, they got guys, Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, and Porter Jr. They could throw at him. That's what I mean by the depth, man. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. If they stand strong, they should be able to beat the Lakers. I don't think the youngest on the Lakers are used to the stage yet, and I don't think they have the depth to bang with them with the experience and stuff that they have, especially if the Nuggets defend like they did when they were winning games in the semis against the Suns. If they defend like they did in the wins, it's going to be tough for the Lakers. It really is, man. But if they losing their composure and stuff and the Lakers see a crack in that gives them confidence, and the youngest gonna grow quick, fast, in a hurry, and then it's gonna be a series. Miami and Boston, that's even a tougher one because I get it. The Celtics, they look good. They finish off Philly, but what I say about them Miami Heat, the mental toughness, they not gonna crack. And the Boston has more talent, but Miami is not gonna crack. But we've seen in the series, even against Philly, where it's like, Boston, what the hell are you doing? Like, what's going on, dog? What's up with the defense? And you can't do that. You can't do that with Miami. Good thing is they have home court advantage. They're healthy. The Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler matchup is gonna be fun to watch. Obviously I'm gonna give the edge to the Celtics if they show up and play like the Celtics and not BS around. If they BS around, they're gonna be in trouble because the Heat gonna jump on them just like they did the Bucks, and then they're gonna find themselves down. The pressure's on, and that it's a different ball game after that. So it's gonna be fun to watch. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Octavia, your thoughts on what's left of the NBA playoffs? Because we're 2 series away from the last round.
So. Yeah, because it's first of all, it's weird because like yesterday there was no game on, so I was like, what am I going to watch? Like, there's nothing to do. But yeah, I'm gonna go through quickly because I think Cardell summed up a lot of it really, really well. Nuggets and Suns series, I think it was basically what we had thought it would be all along. The Suns just didn't have enough. Katie and Devin did everything they could, but I mean, for the second straight year, for them to get blown out by 20 plus in a game and to like seal the deal, it's just kind of like, dang, man. And it's literally the repeat of last year in a certain way. I mean, Chris Paul got hurt last year, got hurt this year. It sucks for them. I don't like Cardell said as well, I don't put too much blame on KD, even though, I mean, a lot of people probably are because he's KD. He just got there, and it shows again that you can see how much talent they lost by gaining KD. It probably might have been a different story if they still had Mikal Bridges, if they still had Cam Johnson. So another thing I'm sure we'll touch on later is the carousel of coaches. They got to blame somebody. Unfortunately, it's always doesn't seem like it's always the right person, but it is, what it is at times. DeAndre Ayton was just, I'm still convinced his ribs wasn't hurt in the last game. He was just tired. He didn't want to play no more. He didn't want to go against Jokic no more. He didn't want to have no more issues. It sucked at him. But the better team won. I mean, Nikola, I expect him to continue going how he's been playing. To me, he's still the best big man in the league. That's just my personal opinion. And yeah, I mean, they just ended up being too much for the Suns. Lakers and Warriors, I mean, I'll be the first to say the Lakers have surprised me. I know Grant said that ever since they had the roster change midway in the season with the trade deadline, they definitely come together a lot more. I give Austin Reeves a lot more credit than I did in the past. He's playing well. They're running the offense through him at times. And you can kind of see that LeBron is just able to kind of sit back, kind of survey what's going on and kind of like step in when needed to. I think that's helped them. Anthony Davis has to stay healthy. I still don't believe that Anthony Davis can get through a full postseason without some type of injury. So we'll see. I mean, granted, he had the head injury, was in the wheelchair. I thought it was over after that, but kudos to him for, being able to get back out there and play in the next game. And his defense has been top tier, for most of the playoffs. So I'm interested in this next round is getting ready to start to see him against, Jokic. Heat in the Knicks. Yeah, I just think the Knicks maxed out. Jalen Brunson did everything that he could. It seems like Julius Randle he kind of just doesn't show up at the big moments when they need him to. And as Cardell said as well, you can see he kind of gets in his head. He's when he's not able to do the things he normally does, he's not able to impact the game in any other positive way. He kind of beats himself up. It's kind of like the definition of being too hard on yourself in a certain sense. It's like if you're not scoring, he's like, well, if I'm not scoring, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? It's kind of like he kind of goes helter-skelter in a way. So I think that you would think that comes more with maturity and time in the game. I would think at this point in his career, he'd be a little bit further along in that aspect of it, but that's definitely something you see he still has to work on. It's clear that Jalen Brunson has come in 1 year and taken over as the face of their organization easily. So they did everything they could, but Jimmy Butler, I mean, Bam played amazing defense on Julius Randle pretty much the entire series. And we talked about Kyle Lowry coming off of the bench and basically outscoring the whole New York Knicks bench by himself. I think they put up a good fight because I really thought it was going to go 4-1 or 4-2. So they were able to at least get it to a game 6. They just weren't able to pull it out and get it to a game 7. The Celtics and the Sixers. I mean, the Celtics continuously put themselves in these situations. I've said it for a while so far this year that it's one of those things where it's like you kind of play with your food. It's kind of starting to give me not 100% vibes, but a little bit of vibes of when they talk about the Warriors are like bored in the regular season or they're bored in certain games. I kind of started to get that vibe from them, even though they shouldn't be at the place, but they should be bored with anything because they haven't won any type of championship in order to be bored of any part of the game. But I get that feeling from them. It's like they get up by a lot of points sometimes, and then they just kind of relax, thinking like, yeah, we're just going to win. And in this day and age, and this far into the playoffs, it's just not going to fly. Jason Tatum was shooting horribly, and I mean horribly. It's probably the worst I've ever seen him shoot, to be completely honest. But the good thing about him, and like you also stated, the difference between him and Julius Randle is that he can still impact the game in other ways. I think he's been a double-digit rebounder in the entire series. He's playing good defense. He's had at least, I think, 2 blocks. He's averaging like 2 blocks a game. He's playing really, really well on the defensive side. And you knew eventually his shot would fall. Maybe didn't know it would fall to the point that they did at the end of the game 6. And just like Cardell said, like I pretty much knew it was pretty much a wrap from there. As long as the Celtics came out and took the initiative and came out and actually played really, really hard. For the Sixers, you can't go out like that, to be completely honest. It's not Doc's fault that Joel Embiid had 15 points. It's not Doc's fault that James Harden had 9 points, in a closeout game. that you guys could have closed out the game before. The comment that I always feel like I hear with them is that once the season is over, it's always somebody else's fault, or I can't do it by myself, or I need help, or I mean, to say that after a game 7 where Joel had 15, James had 9. I mean, Tyrese Maxey was killing it. Like, he was killing the Celtics for majority of this postseason during the series, and he was consistent. You know, like, yeah, James had the 40, 45-point games that he had. I don't even really think Joel had a big statement game that he had in this series after coming off the 52 points that he had against them at the final game of the regular season that they harped on so much that they said that game was the game that he said that he became the MVP of the league. And when the MVP was needed in game 7, he was nowhere to be found. Talking about that you should be able to demand the ball. You can bring the ball up the court. You've seen him bring the ball up the court. And I just mean, Al Horford, for as awful as he shot as well in this series, he still was playing good defense. You know, he was definitely, and granted, we know Al is up there in basketball age as far as, you know, regular players or whatever. He was staying with him step by step, and he was definitely in Joel's head, because I've never seen Joel pump fake so many times against Al Horford. So yeah, it turned out the way that I feel like it was supposed to. I just feel like the Celtics took it a little bit too long. Hopefully that's not to their detriment in this next series. Lakers and Nuggets tonight. I expect this to be, first of all, I'll say East and West Conference. I expect them both to be great series. We have a rematch of the bubble year, which is crazy. I actually like it because a lot of people say the bubble doesn't count. I'm 50-50 with it. So I'm interested to see, you know, how these two series shake out. Lakers and the Nuggets, you know, I think the matchup between Anthony Davis and Jokic is going to be amazing. But like you said, it like in the bubble, you know, after AD, they had Dwight Howard, they had JaVale McGee behind him. They had other big bodies that could deal with Jokic outside of AD. When AD is out the game, there's nobody else back there that's going to be able to deal with Jokic. So I'll be interested to see how they mirror the minutes maybe. Again, they're probably going to have to play a lot of minutes. A lot of people keep talking about that high, you know, altitude in Denver. Is that going to have some type of effect on their conditioning? We'll see as the series goes on. I also agree Jamal Murray is definitely going to be an X factor. If he's even close to what he was in the bubble, I'm so excited to see the matchup. You know, I want to see who it's going to match up against and see if they're able to really get over the hump, because that's the one thing that I feel like we talked about the Nuggets in the last couple of years, that they've always been a pretty good team. They've had injuries the past couple of years, but they're relatively healthy. You know, I think they said Jamal Murray is like under the weather a little bit or something, but I know he's still playing tonight. They're healthy, you know, and they have a golden opportunity. They have the number 1 seed. They have home court advantage, and they're able to come out, you know, tonight. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. Celtics and the Heat. That's going to be a knockdown, drag-out series as well. Jimmy Butler and them is not going to go out easy. In my opinion, they got to pick their poison as far as the Celtics. Either you got to strap Jimmy and hope and make everybody else beat you, or if Jimmy's going to do Jimmy things, you can't let nobody else go off. It just can't happen. I'm interested to see how Bam adjusts to playing against. I would assume we would see more Robert Williams in this series, maybe some more Grant Williams, because Grant Williams is a little bit more physical as well, and I think Bam is that type of player. So I just think it's going to be a good series all the way around. I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are just going to play up to their potential that they should, and I just hope that it doesn't come down to coaching, because Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in the league, and we've seen some hiccups with Joe Mazzulla over the last couple of series. Granted, being a rookie coach, you would expect that. But I expect it to be, you know, nothing short of a great series. I think both series are going at least 6 games, if not 7 in both. And we'll see who comes out.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a lot to talk about come next week as it pertains to the playoffs. But real quick, before we move off the NBA and take our first break, this is what happened tonight. You know, draft lottery occurred during you guys sharing your thoughts on the segment. So let me get this right here, just run through it. Pelicans at 14, the Raptors picking 13th, OKC at 12, Orlando at 11, Dallas at 10, Utah at 9, Washington in their familiar place of 8, somewhere between 8 and 12 they're usually at. The Pacers at 7th, Orlando is 6th, the Pistons 5th. The Rockets have another top 5 pick, landing at 4. The Trailblazers are 3rd, the Hornets are the 2nd, and the Spurs, shocker, they completed their goal. They ended this season. They went this season. Made sure they were going to try. They were going to be able to compete and take the talent off their team for the most part, and they ended up with the number 1 pick. So we'll see how this goes. I think we all know who the number 1 pick probably will be, but we'll,
don't do that PC before this. We know exactly what he's going to do. Well, everybody in the Spurs, the owner, everybody.
Nah, we knew what it was last year.
I mean, they were
when they made up their mind.
Said future number 1 pick after this, like, and he basically just said, like, yeah, I can't wait to get to San Antonio.
Hey, look, the Spurs have done this before. Shocker. We'll see where this goes. For the Hornets, it's not a bad thing to be there at 2. At all, there's a lot of talent in this class, and obviously, stay with us. Cardell Ray will definitely get to breaking down some of this talent in this group as we get closer and closer to the draft. We're gonna take our first break of the night. When we get back, I'm gonna talk a little Mystics, get some DC United and whatnot. You watching the Focus TV? We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Focus TV. We will be talking about the Washington Mystics as they prepare to open their regular season. As you guys see up on the screen, this is the best way to stay with this season for our content, for our Mystics content. Again, the Mystics wrapped up their preseason schedule with an 88-76 win over Atlanta. Had the box score watch that one. It was not streamed because the WNBA doesn't happen yet. The WNBA in terms of preseason games being broadcast. That said, they were led by Alana Deladon, 17 points. Brittany Sykes added 13. The Dream were led by Alicia Graves, 14 points. And Asia Durr, very great to see her back, finish with 12. Washington opened his regular season slate on Friday at home against the new look New York Liberty. Some folks have already, gone really far with the Liberty and the Aces. The Aces coming off a chip, so the praise they get is deserved. We get that. But with the Liberty, those people talk about super teams, all this other stuff. Whatever. It should be a good matchup to open the season. So Octavia, just want to ask you before we move out of this segment, just what you expect out of the Mystics this year, and then Cardell, if you can answer that after Octavia finishes up.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it short and brief. I expect excellence. I mean, that's just what I expect when it comes to the Mystics. I'm excited to see Tolliver back. I'm excited to see Shakira Austin after being after her rookie season, see how she comes around. I'm excited to see Alana Deladon playing full games and everything. I think she said that her back is pretty much almost 100%, if not. So we should see her in multiple games, and I expect to see them compete. I think they should be top 3 teams in the league with the shift of everything that's going on, between them, the Aces, and the Liberty with the super teams at this point. So I'm just excited to see them play. I'm a little behind on some things, figuring out what's going on that I'm looking up now that I wasn't aware of. So I'm even more excited now to kind of dive a little bit deeper and to see how everything is going to shake out for them. And I'm excited to see how the passing of the torch from Tebow to little Tebow, to see, even though we got a lot of glimpses of it last year, he did a lot of head coaching last year, but just interested to see him in his first full season with them, how everybody's going to react to them, and I'm just ready to go. I'm ready for the games to start, so I'm excited.
And they start this Friday, Cardell.
I mean, just looking for them to just honestly stay healthy. They got a little deeper up front with Brittany Sykes, and Amanda is all he be. They to make sure Shakira not down there on the island by herself. I know Elizabeth was down there, but she's more of a dirty work type big. She don't give you consistent scoring. Amanda will in some spurts. Brittany Sykes adds another dimension off the bench. Maybe she may start. We don't know. We'll see on opening night. just more firepower. You know what I'm saying? Especially, our Cloud can be inconsistent with hitting open shots and all that. She can set the table and not feel the pressure of having to score. Ariel Atkins, I'm looking for her to be a 3-level scorer instead of being a 3D and slasher. And I'm looking to see if she added a mid-range game, post-up game, mid-post, low-post, added that to her game. She did that, then it's going to be problems. Tiana Hawkins, just a veteran presence as well inside, and, stretch the floor. Knows how to play, good screener. Knows how to get the rebound inside. And Maisha Hines-Allen has her decision-making improved. Little things. That's really what's stopping her, just little things. She gets herself in trouble sometimes when she tries to do a little too much. She just, just stay within herself. She's matured in that area. And, we see how it goes. We know Chrissy Tolliver. We just know she did to hand out daggers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just get a little card, hit a couple threes, and if the game close, put her in, she hit daggers. You know what I'm saying? Get them up out of there. You know what I'm saying? That's what she doing. Like Octavia said, it's a bulk. Trying to see what he learned from his father. Obviously, we got takes last couple years when being associate coach. He had plenty, a handful of games both seasons where he had a coach and whatnot. So obviously, it's not foreign territory for him, but we're gonna see. It's hard to say where they're gonna be. Obviously, I expect them to be at the top of the East because the East is gonna be mean. The East is gonna be hell. Definitely. Well, that Liberty team, that Liberty team, man, that damn Liberty team. I might leave. Hey, Boston and Indiana, they got that. I mean, I'm seeing her, and she was cooking Tierra McCowan in the preseason. I'm like, dog, they got to start doubling her already. I thought it was gonna take a little bit, man. She didn't McCowan, bro, 6'7", man. She agile, hitting her with moves. Tierra can move her off the. Tierra come move her off the block. I'm like, Lord, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be wild, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always one team that jump out. Like you don't expect it. Atlanta Dream, the draft that they had, they got a whole bunch of just athletic, versatile wings. They on it. It's like they the female version of the Clippers, except they're healthy, man. They just gonna throw wings out there and just like, hey, y'all figure it out. So it's you're gonna see lineups with about 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", wings that are athletic out there, and it's like, what y'all gonna do with this? We gonna see, you know what I mean? And it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be fun. I'm actually excited to see. But for the Mystics, the main thing is protecting home court. That's half the battle. And if you win half your road games, you'll be fine. And just staying healthy, man. Because the last couple of seasons they break down. They and honestly, they be broken down by the time the All-Star week can come, and that's no good, man. Because then they limping the rest of the season. So that's the main thing for them. And we'll see how it goes, man. So hell of an opening night to really see what it is. And that's a nice little test right there. So looking forward to it.
You gotta let a W, man. They don't waste no time. Get right to it. Ha! You want to compete this year? Here you go.
We're critical of them not holding the game right and all that. That's a smart ass move. Yeah, we're gonna throw the dogs out the gate to make sure y'all tune in.
And shout out to I think Ion TV that started their deal with the WNBA this year. Another network, somebody else coming to the table to help, just cover. So coverage a little bit more similar to how the men's is. Just more views. Like it's really simple with the women's game. If you put it on TV, people will watch. Go figure. Hopefully people start getting that. But again, DC United, this week they were trying to come off a loss. They had several games last week. Last week when we talked to you guys, they were literally in the midst of an Open Cup match. They ended up losing that game to the New York City Red Bulls 1-0. Over the weekend, they hosted Nashville at Audi. No Christian Benteke in that one. It was tough for them, to say the least, because he's been such a big part of everything they've done this year. Chris Durkin barely missed a rock of a shot in the 36th minute. It was a great shot. It clipped the top of the bar, hit the woodwork, bounced off. Both teams got an opportunity in the first half. Nobody capitalized. So the first half resulted in a scoreless draw. Shaq Moore in the 73rd minute put a cross into the box. Alex Mule got a shot off. The keeper parried it, couldn't catch it, knocked it down. Donovan Pines went to clear the ball, but Mule blocked. It was it was just one. It was just a fortuitous bounce. He blocked the clearance, and it just goes right back into the goal. With nobody expected that. Just something unfortunate that happened. However, it put Nashville up 1-0. Something that's happened several times this year for DC United. Sometimes, they get a little bit leggy. They bring some of their youngsters in. And go figure. Youngsters come in, fresh legs, and they do things. Christian Fletcher and Ted Pietro came in the 80th minute. Within 2 minutes of being on the field, Matthias Klick found Fletcher outside. Fletcher ate up the cushion, put the defender on his heels, took a couple touches, put the ball into the middle of the box. Pietro calmly just slided the ball into the far post, and they provided DC United a much-needed equalizer. Cardell was talking about for the Mystics how important it is that they protect home. Same goes for DC United. Obviously, you would like to get the result. You would like to get 3 points. What you don't want is L's at home. It is almost like it reverberates twice as much. But again, they were able to get out of this game with the draw. It's not the end of the world. They're now 4-5-3 on the year. Obviously, you would like them to be a bit better, but we remember what they looked like when they started this year. About a month ago, I remember we were on here talking about them looking up at the rest of the Eastern Conference. Right now, they're ninth, which is right above that imaginary line that lets you know if you're in the postseason or not. And clearly, we are far from the postseason. But it was good to see them rebound and get a draw after a loss. This week's a busy week for them again. They'll be on the road to face the Philadelphia Union Wednesday, and then they come back on Saturday to host the LA Galaxy. So they got an opportunity if they're able to get two positive results, whether they be draws or wins, to vault themselves upwards in the standings once again. So we'll see how those things go. We're gonna take our second break. When we get back, Cardell's gonna get us through rapid fire, and again, I can't wait because there's a lot of stuff, man. A lot of people acting up across sports. A lot of people, especially that doggone NBA. We'll be right back. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, we're going to jump right into rapid fire. So Cardell, the floor is yours.
And so we're gonna start with the topic in the NBA, man. I just have a point to make with this one. Former NBA star, former NBA player, turned FanDuel TV analyst Chandler Parsons said he believes that LeBron has a golden opportunity to drop the mic on the GOAT debate. According to Parsons, if James leads the Lakers to a title this year, there should no longer be any question with regard to his GOAT status. Do not let the Lakers win this championship, because if he wins this after everything they've been through this season, tell me he's not the best player of all time. Parsons says, my God, if this dude finds a way to knock off the number one seed and then goes and beats Boston in the NBA Finals, putting an end on the whole debate. Now, Wilson, there you go. You already got it up. You see the date on this article? That's all I want. That's all I want to put up. The goalposts have literally been moving for over a decade. That's the whole point of me bringing this up. And who's to say that Boston's automatically going to be in the finals for one? And didn't the number one seed have a bunch of injuries and a bunch of off-court issues, that they knocked off? Like, it's a lot of things that they haven't faced a healthy team yet. This will be the first series they have. Not knocking it, they did what they had to do. But there were a lot of things that went their way. My question is, y'all, why do they keep moving these goalposts? This is 10 plus years of this, man. Don't they have something else to talk about with sports? Isn't Anthony Davis balling? Didn't Lonnie Walker play good? Austin Reeves. They act like he was trash. You got former NBAs before the season, man. This dude trash. He ain't even that good. All he's been is consistent. Darvin Ham, what about the great job he's doing as a coach after waiting 50 years to get an opportunity, which is par for the course for black coaches, but that's a whole nother topic. We're not gonna get in that tonight. Why do they keep moving goalposts? I just wanted to hear y'all thoughts on this before we move on. We ain't even gonna address that goat crap. I just want to know why they keep moving goalposts, man. You can start with you, Octavia.
I think just like you said, because they don't got nothing else better to do with their life. The last person that I ever thought would be the person having this discussion is Chandler Parsons. Let's start with that. Sir, nobody even knows where you are, what you're doing. I don't even know where this came from. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know if these players, because they feel like they played in the same era as him, and if they like maybe played like kind of good against him, maybe like one game, they be like, yeah, so like I played real good against the best player ever. I don't know if that's what it is, you know.
There you go.
And if you guys just want to like kind of like that's my buddy, so like we just gonna like do. I mean, great. I'm not saying that he's not great. He obviously is, but that's just asinine. Like, I mean, LeBron missed majority of I won't say majority of the season. He missed a lot of the season with injuries. And you just named a lot of people that have been kind of carrying the load a little bit. Don't get me wrong, LeBron has done what he needs to do in certain situations, but I mean, it was LeBron when Lonnie Walker had to score 15 points off the bench in the fourth quarter. I mean, there's other people that are on this team, and I definitely think it's a great thing that you brought up the fact about the coaching. Darvin Ham has done a great job coaching this team. The team pre-trade deadline and post-trade deadline. He's done well with managing both of those groups, and we know how polar opposite those groups were. So talk about something else. Like let's do something else at this point. Let's just stop having this conversation, in my opinion. Like I don't know what it is. Like nothing will ever change my mind. It's just not going to happen. But we got to move forward at this point. But it seems like nobody wants to move forward.
This date is 2011. That's what makes it pathetic. Y'all been saying this for over 10 years, and it still ain't work. Let it go, Wilson. Just you chime in, man.
They've decided, like you said, with the date, right? Like it's almost like Flashpoint. Like no matter how much he goes back in time to try to save his mom, it's not worth it for the rest of us. Like Flash kept trying. She gotta go. It's part of the story for everybody else to be okay. And they're not going to cover this man's career any other way, no matter what. They're going to just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, no matter what. They've decided there's one way to cover this dude. When they win, it is all him, even though laughably, this is the year where he's getting carried the most. And I'm not mad at it because we had that part of the career. That's fine. Like, I'm not even mad at that. I think there's so many stories that should be written for that, for him learning from 2011 and removing himself from forcing himself to be at the center of it and letting other people do it. I think that would be a great way to talk about this. But alas, we know the rules. The coach don't matter. I swore Mike Brown was the worst coach in the world. But again, when we're gonna get to a point when we look back in time, that man hasn't had a bad coach. But that's another story for another day. Leave that alone.
Hey. What was the coach before Brian? Vlad. Vlad didn't even get a chance. That was just bad, man.
But even his resume, like
EuroLeague, exactly.
Yeah,
He's a lot of rings over there.
He hasn't had a bad coach.
No.
But y'all, when he wins, it's me. When he loses, everybody else's fault. And like you said, even against the Warriors, while the Warriors were tripping, like, and what's laughable is what they went through this year. What their GM made some trades, which is his job. To make trades, that's your job to improve the team. Kudos to Rob Pelinka. When all Laker fans was at Pelinka's neck, how about you to Rob Pelinka?
What's crickets about him?
Put them in that situation?
Man, because Rob Pelinka fixed what your man's wanted, which was what the roster was to start the year. But we're not going to talk about this because we never talk about the other side of it. Like, there's just so many other ways to cover this, but I don't expect it. I just really don't. And I also expect next year. Well, not even next year. As soon as Victor gets selected number one, that group of people, oh man, it's about to be nasty what they do to Victor. Because you can already see how some of them feel some type of way about Victor, the prospect and seeing, their deity up there on screen, and how they feel about it. Like they're already upset. The Colts gonna come hard for the young boy, but again, that has nothing to do with this. I'm just not shocked. Like this is what 12 years ago.
12, bro.
12 years ago, and they've been doing this story every year, at least 6 times a year for 12 years. Let it go.
Every 2 months. Jeez.
Like just there's nothing wrong, man. He's gonna be one of the best players of all time. He just want to be number one. Let it go. Like it's cool. It's cool.
You've seen better. That's all it is, and that's all. That's my whole thing. And they make it impossible to really fully rock, like not rock, but appreciate what he's doing. Because every time we like, yeah, LeBron great, he's go. You be like, I'm turning the channel. Like, goddamn, dog. Let that joint go, bro. And I'll tell you, you make a great point. I really feel is that it's self-serving. So all these people could be like, I played against the GOAT. And people have called me a LeBron hater. I played against the man at 5-star when we were in high school. Wouldn't it serve me best to say he the GOAT? You feel what I'm saying? I ain't played against Mike. Mike was far older than me. He ought not to be my damn father. So you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm just going off the basketball, what we grew up seeing, what we saw that man do. Don't do this, man. And the fact that y'all gotta keep trying to politic to give this man that nod is weak, man. Like, if he's that, it would be universally known he's that. It would be no argument. Though I promise you this didn't happen with Jordan. Even when he was coming up and it was Magic of Bird's world and Isaiah had his turn, you didn't get this politic. It was times where he was the man in the finals. Like, I don't know how he gonna beat the Suns, man. I don't know how he gonna beat the Blazers. Oh, Jazz got him. Won the first 2 games. Yeah, it's over. But Reggie took him to seven games. They ain't never did this before. They old, man. It's a wrap. And then somehow this motherfucker find a way, and it's just like, you know what, dog? He's just that dude. He's just that dude. It is what it is, man. We just gotta accept it, and that's what it was, man. So, I just had to bring that up. Like 12 years of this. Come on, man. Look, it's just ridiculous, man. We're gonna move on to a more serious subject in the NBA. Obviously, everyone has heard, unless you living on outer space on Pluto or something. Grizzlies suspend Ja Morant after he appeared to flash a gun on social media once again. Morant was suspended for a similar situation in March, forcing him to miss 8 games and costing more than $600,000 in lost salary. Sheesh. Morant's 23, was reportedly seen on Instagram Live video Saturday waving what appeared to be a firearm as he was riding a car with a friend. Screen recordings and screenshots of the video were shared across social media platforms, and spectators noted that the same behavior has previously caused Morant to miss games and paychecks. The Grizzlies said in a statement Sunday morning that they were aware of the video, said he's suspended from all team activities pending league review. The Grizzlies said we have no further comment at this time. Obviously, Adam Silver spoke on the situation right before the draft lottery tonight, and he said he described himself as shocked when he saw the social media video. He said, honestly, I was shocked when I saw this week in that video. Now we're in the process of investigating it, and we'll figure out exactly what happened to the best we can. The video is a bit grainy and all that, but I'm assuming the worst. He said we talked directly about the consequences first, Silver told ESPN on Tuesday, from the prior situation before we got to subsequent potential to have done something wrong. We were very focused on the misconduct that was in front of us at the time. Frankly, most of our conversation was about how incredibly serious the first incident was of waving a firearm on social media. Again, the consequences there and 8-game suspension was pretty serious and something that he, at least to me, seemed to take incredibly serious at the time. And we spoke for a long time about not just the consequences that could have on his career, but the safety issues around it. Morant could have injured, maimed, killed himself, someone else with an act like that, and also the acknowledgement that he's a star. He has an incredibly huge following, and we discussed my concern. I thought he shared with me that millions, if not tens of millions of kids globally would have seen him do something that was celebrating in a way that act of using a firearm in that fashion. So I at least was left with the sense that he was taking this incredibly serious. Wilson, we're just going to start your thought. It's a 3-part question for this. It's going to be kind of a, serious talk. First of all, what are your thoughts on the situation? What do you feel should happen as far as the suspension? And how do you feel about those in our community that continue to make excuses or justify Morant's actions, and look at other folks in our community who are looking to hold him accountable. Go ahead, it's on you.
I mean, overall, look, I think the suspension needs to be whatever it needs to be to grab his attention because everything else hasn't worked. So I know some people are like, oh man, a year is too much. No, we passed all that. Whatever gets this young man's attention. Because so I think that's the first part of the question. The second question, the second part, you know you're doing a lot when you got your employer mad and the streets mad. Both the streets and your employer have the same view of how you're acting. Think about that for a second. Like, really let that settle in. Those are polar opposite walks of life. In both of them, you know what they have in common right now? Supremely disappointed in your behavior. Both of them. And as for the accountability thing, this is why we're here right now. I've seen some people like, oh man, his friends this, his friends that. Look, some of that I get. His friends, you want to know what else? At this point where I've accepted, Ja is the issue. Like, some point y'all gotta, like, it can't be everybody else, which kind of leads to that whole coaching thing. But again, he's the issue. His friends aren't in the league. Matter of fact, I think the video that came out the other day, one of his friends realized the man had the gun and instantly tried to move the camera. Why are the people around you trying to be more responsible than you? It's him. But again, I expect people to not get that because it's 2023 and we lost accountability at like 98. Like it's been gone. We're not getting back. Every 5 years since like 98, accountability just started fading away. And we're on the other side of it. Because for everybody to look at this and get it wrong, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. This isn't hard. This isn't difficult. And I'm very happy nobody else has gotten hurt to this point. If this was a regular person, we'd be talking about interventions of the highest kind, right? But this is what's needed right here. He's not listening to anybody. So if most people, you know, you lose a sponsorship, you start losing them, they'll respond accordingly. Clearly, he hasn't lost enough yet for this guy. I think I saw you tweet something the other day, Cardell, about like the morality clause in contracts and whatnot. John's about to find he found out about the other side, professional sports. He's getting dangerously close to finding out. And I don't want this to be a cautionary tale. But again, this goes down to, you know, multiple things. One, being accountable, and two, just accepting who you are. Like, just be who you are. What are you out here doing and trying to prove? It's crazy.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, so before I get serious, because I know I'm not really serious all the time. You haven't seen Kwame, you haven't seen the video Kwame made. It's hilarious. I'm sorry. I've never seen him call this man NBA dumb boy. Anyways, back to my serious side. In all seriousness, I really don't know how to feel because I agree with you, Wilson, when I feel like he's not listening to anybody. There's been so many former players that have come out and given cautionary tales about what they've gone through, what the league knows. Like, it's been documented everywhere. Everybody knows about the Gilbert Arenas situation. We know what Steven Johnson and Matt Barnes and all these other players have said is some of the things that have happened. And obviously, he's not listening to that. The part that gets annoying to me at times where they're like, oh, he's just a kid. He's not a kid. He's 23 years old. He's an adult. He should be able to make adult-like decisions. Also, like you said, Wilson, yeah, in the video, his friend literally panned towards him, saw the gun, and then tried to hide it. So he's also now trying to protect you because this is the same friend is the one that's been banned from Memphis games because of the Indiana Pacers situation with the laser, where nobody knows what this laser was attached to, but a lot of people are saying that it was attached to a gun. So to me, it's like I don't know how to feel about it because on one side, I'm not surprised because of the patterns that we've been seeing over the last couple of months, however long it was, situation, at a mall, I think they said, the Indiana situation, the situation in the Denver club. There's been numerous situations, and all of those other situations, he hasn't had no accountability for. He hasn't had any type of punishment for. So it's just like I don't even really know how to feel. Cause it's like if he don't care, why the hell do I care? To be completely honest, at times, and I want better for him because John Moran is a great player, but I would hope that there are people in his camp that can see him as more than just a great player, but as a person that they need to get on track. Like somebody has to be able to. If it's, I don't know who could talk to him at this point. Like I don't know what his dad is telling him. From everything that I've seen, like it just blows my mind where people want to be hood so bad. I don't know what it is with this generation. They want to be from the streets. They want to get it out the mud. Sir, you came from a 2-parent household. Your dad has been in your life. You got a younger sister that plays sports. You got a daughter that's looking up to you. Like you have so much going on in your life. Why do you want to be like embedded in this type of stuff? Now, don't get me wrong. We all want to have fun. We all want to listen to our music and stuff like that. But you got to realize in the situation that you're in, like you could be the face of the NBA franchise. And I just don't understand it. As far as discipline actions, I'll be honest, like I'm also aligning with you with some like I think it needs to be something significant, to be completely honest. I think people were saying like, well, he got 8 games last time. They should double it to 16. I'm like, first of all, those 8 games wasn't even really real because he left the team for most of them. They really only retroactively added 8. So he really was only technically suspended for like 2 or 3 games. And then I think it needs to be something significant. And I agree with you, Wilson, when you said like maybe something that grabs his attention so it's hard to pinpoint something. But to me, it's got to be something drastic because now it's like you don't care about you, but you're also impeding the view of our league. Like this is a business. And you have to realize that you got to follow rules. Like, yeah, maybe you're not breaking the law because that's the thing that everybody else was talking about. Like, there's like a law or something in Tennessee where you don't need a permit to carry, which is fine. Nobody said you can't have a gun. I'm just trying to figure out why you got to wave it around at everybody and tell everybody you got one. Like, I don't understand the point of that. But again, I think it's their generation, unfortunately. And the people that he is, I guess, mimicking or modeling him, his situation or the way he acts after are not NBA players. They're not in the same circles as you. They're not doing the same things as you. I would be cool with anywhere like a 25-game suspension, like something it has to hit him hard enough in his pocket because obviously 600,000 meant nothing to him. If he don't need that, he can send it my way because obviously that meant nothing to him. And then the third part of the question, as far as the people that are upset that people are holding him accountable, y'all are part of the problem, to be honest. This is not a black and white thing. This is not you trying to hold a brother down type thing. Like, no, we trying to make sure this brother get what he's supposed to get. That's what we trying to do. We actually trying to look out for him because we know the white man is going to be looking at him like, I don't know if I can market this one, and he's putting himself in a deeper hole. So those people that are saying that, they're just the same people that are probably in his ear, his yes man, and telling him these things. He needs somebody around him that's going to tell him the truth. I'm hoping he's getting that, but I feel like at this point, even if he's getting that, is he really listening? Because to me, it's just wild that you literally just got suspended for this 2 months ago and you do the exact same thing. Like, not even a variation of it. The exact same thing. And I saw a tweet where they said it's so crazy to see the different contrast. I literally just watched John Morant on a Instagram live waving a gun around. Yesterday I watched the Instagram live with Damian Lillard. He was sitting there drinking coffee, singing R&B songs. Like,
and he's from
I don't yeah, granted he's older and I get that, yeah, but it's just like the contrast of like I don't understand it, but I guess we'll see what happens. I feel like the commissioner's trying to give him a bone by saying we'll see if it's not doctored and everything. Like it's not doctored. It's like it's not. It was him. Like we all know it was him. But I feel you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get on him in this instance where the youngest today want to be from the street because dudes were dang sure moving like that when we were kids, man. We come from the death row. We come from the death row, Tupac, Big. Like we come from that. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, it was being done there, but it just shows it just shows the ignorance within our community. I'm not saying overall our community is ignorant. I'm just saying the ignorance within it that we glorify the street stuff, and we all know what comes from that. And it always ends bad. You know what I'm saying? That's why I understand the situation with Ja actually reminds me when I first moved out to Fort Washington from Southern Avenue. We felt like we escaped, we won. You know what I mean? Even though it was just a middle class city. I mean, I know Tantali got this side, but the neighborhood we moved in Old Fort Hills, we thought we were rich. We never seen nothing like that when we moved out there. We ain't see people with multiple cars where we came from. A basketball court in the backyard. People with college degrees. Everybody was just trying to make ends meet and stay alive. You know what I mean? And it was weird to me when I, starting to get to make friends out for Washington and they trying to act hard, but it's like, dude, you was born and raised out here. What is there to act hard about? It don't add up. You know what I'm saying? Because the people, the people we came up with, we was growing up with, our neighbors, our friends and stuff, we were all hoping to get out of that. Out of that environment where a drive-by could just happen at any time. You hearing police and shooting and fire trucks and like all night, 24/7. You having 50 locks on the door because anybody a fiend can try to break in your house and steal stuff, and that's the reality, man. You know what I mean? Like that fiends walking around, just looking like half dead people. You know what I'm saying? Like nightmare stuff, and this everyday occurrence, and you don't realize it's bad till you move. Like I said, out the Fort Washington, you don't see that no more, and it's like, damn, it was really that effed up. So I don't get how John Moran, who we know grew up in that type of environment, that middle class home, because we've seen the home videos when he was a kid and stuff like that. Why are you trying to glorify something you know nothing about? There are consequences for that. And I could tell you from the old neighborhood, the one thing dudes do not like that live their life is people pretending that they live their life, man. They will pull your car quick. They will try to see if you really about that quick. You see what I'm saying? Because they don't understand it. It's like we feel like we don't have a choice. You have a choice, bro. And the people that don't want to be hold them accountable stuff, the man already lost $40 million because he didn't make all NBA. And it's not because of his play on the court. It's because of the off-court stuff. You lost $40 million, bro, already. Like hard-earned money, man. You can have the potential over the next decade to be $1 billion athlete. Set things up for generations upon generations, like your great grandkids are straight. You see what I'm saying? Like, why are you blowing that to prove you tough? And no disrespect, and I'm gonna keep it real with you because I'm from that area. I'm from that neighborhood. Most of them dudes that be doing all this stuff aren't tough. Why you think they snitch in court? Why you think they crying? Like, why do you think they go to jail and they turning into somebody's girlfriend? That ain't tough. It's all types. I'm being real, man. It's all types of stuff, man. A lot of these dudes only brave when they're deep. You catch them by themselves and ain't none of that. You see what I'm saying? That I just don't understand. And the dudes who are tough, who uphold it and go to the fullest with it, it ends two ways. They either gonna get killed or they're gonna be in life in jail. I've been watching interviews on Tony Lewis' father, who's connected to Rayful Edmonds, who just got out. 34 years in jail. He went in at 89. I was 5 years old. The biggest drug bust in DC history, man. You see what I'm saying? And all he keeps saying in the interview, all he keeps saying is he's apologizing to the people he affected, our community, people he sold drugs, all that, people who he hurt. He just keep apologizing, and he keep like, yo, I'm telling you, young boys, like this ain't it. This ain't it. I wasted 34, and he said, I'm lucky because my son loved me enough to rock with me and change and be an advocate for helping the community out and stay with me. He said a lot of the homies don't have that. They by themselves. Like people will write them and visit them for a couple years. After those couple years, they forget they exist. See what I'm saying? And he said, and you could tell he a solid dude. You could just tell because he even got mad about the other guy. I ain't gonna get into it, but he was more the flashy dude. Tony Lewis Sr. was more like, I'm about my business. I'm just trying to set things up so I can have a better life, get out this game eventually. You see what I'm saying? But he got caught up with it. When he said, when the judge said, man, you gonna be in there for the rest of your life, you getting a life sentence, man. He said he cried. He broke down because he said that hits your soul like nothing else. It ain't nothing I don't care how tough you are, bro. It ain't nothing to hear these people, the judge say you're serving life behind bars. You will never see the light of day again. That's some other stuff, man. So why would you put yourself in that position? And then his man, they talk about his friends. His man actually did him a solid. He put the camera down quick. So he wasn't even anticipating job. This is job, man. Mm-hmm. And what if the gun went off by accident and hit his friend and killed him? Then what? Dog, I hate seeing young brothers jam themselves up because we grew up seeing so many athletes jam themselves up. The Michael Vicks, man. AR stayed in trouble. I love AR. A lot of stuff he did to himself, we know that, man. And recently, Antonio Brown. Like, dog, why do we got to keep doing this, man? And hell, here in DC, Jordan Arenas. He had the guns and then he got to play the next game here in Philly in the layup line. And it's a picture on the front of the Washington Post, like, dog. And then you got to understand, dog, you don't mess with David Stern like that, bro. Like, that dude will finish you, dog. Like, there's plenty of stories about dudes saying, like, bro, do you want to play in the NBA or not? He just get right to the point. Do you want to play? Because I have you overseas quick. All right, if you want to play in the league, this is what's going to happen. This ain't Adam Silver's nice. Because see, Ja will already be finished. He'd already been finished if it was David Stern. We know that. Yeah. So I kind of feel like he deserves a big punishment, not just to teach him, but to send a message to the next fool that think he can just keep doing the same stuff, man. It's like if you're a parent. And I don't know what the problem is with a lot of young black kids coming up. You could tell they ain't had their ass whooped. My era, bro, if they got to come to you again for the same hit, all hell gonna break loose. You're gonna get the hell beat out you, dog. In the street, no matter what, bro. And I done took a few of those L's. It ain't pretty, bro. Mm-hmm. And people just sitting back looking at you like, shouldn't have fucked up. I mean, shit, hit him again. Keep it up, yeah. And you getting your butt whooped so bad, man. You a parent look at their kid and whoop their ass just because, like, if you even think about doing what he did, it's bad, man. So I don't understand what the disconnect is with this, man. Because he's not playing around like they keep seeing him in a strip club or something like that, man, messing with women, you know what I'm saying, like that. It ain't like, bro, he's playing with guns. Guns kill, like, you could be up out of here with one shot. And on top of that, I know people saying he lives in Memphis. It's an open carry state. I get that. But, bro, you could be open carry state and don't have it out, man. You could just have it. And two, you're worth almost $200 million. You would have had the 200 M's if you ain't do the dumb stuff. Why don't you just hire security, man? So you ain't got to worry about it. They got the gun permit. And it's part of their job. So you can literally have the gun with you at any time. All you got to do is just look and they're going to handle it if it's that serious. I just don't get it, man. I hate seeing young brothers jam themselves up, man, because it's already so much against us as is, man. And this man got so much, like, he could literally be the face of the league in a few years. He could literally be that dude, man. And it's like, wow, man, what are you gaining by this? You're not getting no respect from it. No one thinks you cool. The streets are mad. They want to holler at you just as like, yo, what's wrong with you? Bro, you know you don't cross the line. There's no disrespect. When Stack 5 is like, you're a moron. Stack 5 said that. He said, I can't even defend him. I tried the first time he made one mistake. He said, look, I went up in the stands. I ain't doing no more, did I? He said, you're a moron. He gonna keep doing it? Hey. And he keep doing it. Like, it's just, I'm trying to be careful what I say on this broadcast, man. And then you got people hitting me up like, man, you can't get on them in front of white folks. I'm like, man, they already thinking what they thinking, man. I don't got nothing. Literally said that to me. Yes, you can't get on each other in front of white folks. And I'm like, they already gonna think what they gonna think. They ain't got nothing to do with it. But guess what? I'm gonna tell you what the most important white folk gonna think. That judge. I'm trying to. I want to save the brother from getting to that point, because then it won't matter. Everybody gonna be quiet because the judge gonna be like life or whatever. Here's your 25 years, man. You want to keep acting the fool? Here's what it is. And your career is over. And now you gonna be in the history books as one of the dumbest athletes of all time. So, that's my take on it, man. I just don't like how our community just justifies so much BS time after time again. Bro, this is not too far after the Kanye stuff, man. They did it with Antonio Brown. They did it with the Kanye stuff. And it's like, dog, when are we just gonna ever be like enough is enough? Matter of fact, people defended R. Kelly, the sick stuff he did, man. And no disrespect, keep it real. If it had been my daughter, he wouldn't be breathing right now. He wouldn't have made it to jail. I would have did everything I could to get to him. And people justify that. And you see why our community is stuck where it is.
Yeah, people need help. Like this is really simple, and they're turning it into something difficult. But again, it's 2023. I lost all hope with the A word. That's what I'm referring to it from now on. It's the A word because it's officially deemed a bad word if you try to hold somebody accountable. So yeah, it's just the A word now. That's where I'm at with it. People just don't like that word at all. It's crazy. But look, man, we want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. We truly appreciate it. There's going to be a lot to discuss next week. The Mystics they would have played 2 games by the next time we talk to y'all. They got a season opener on Friday. They got a road game on Sunday. Like we put up the QR code earlier, best way to make sure you don't miss our Mystics coverage. We're looking forward to all of that. And then just a reminder, Wednesday mornings, 9 a.m., Roku. On our Roku channel, all you have to do if you have a Roku television device is really simple. Type in the search box, the Focus TV, double tap OK on the remote. You've added the channel. And not only will you get this show that we record weekly, some of the Mystic stuff as well. All that other stuff that we do ends up on the channel as well. For those of you in DC, you can just check your local listings for your DC TV. You also have the option to just go to dctv.org and you can watch it on their website. It's really that simple. But y'all have a great week. We'll see y'all soon. Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Focus TV.